Welcome back. So if you are a tech unsavvy, note the word person like me, this segment is for you. We're going to be looking into the use of our devices, the usability or otherwise of it, and why we have challenges sometimes because we don't have an understanding of how they function. So joining us to do a bit of education for us on this segment is Mr. Akin Bitoye, who is a tech advisor. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's start with what is common. Devices consume a lot of data, and I hear that a whole lot.
Oh, yes.
Some people would say that, the type of phone I'm using is a really big phone, and it consumes all of my data. I buy 5,000 naira, and in 2 weeks it's gone. So what is the problem with that, and how can it be solved?
Well, technology devices become so ubiquitous that they have to communicate with the internet often. So these days, you have updates, security updates, operating system, that's the software update, the apps updates, that's what the chief culprit is. So regardless of how technologically advanced your phone is, or computer, or tablet, like the ones we're holding, as long as they communicate with the internet, they would update. So what you would want to do is to disable automatic updates when you are on a data plan. For example, I've heard someone say, oh, my office, we bought 300 gigabytes of data and it did not last 1 month. So that's the first thing to do. Disable automatic updates on your devices. Then you can update them when you are on an unlimited internet Wi-Fi connection or something.
So even when you turn off mobile data?
Yes.
And just because you're saving data overnight and then you put it back on?
You're not saving data. Because everything is backed up, waiting for you. Once the internet connection comes, everything comes back in. So you did not really save, any data. Yes. Second thing you would want to do is turn off automatic downloads for your messaging apps. Because most times, I've had people's WhatsApp backups running to like 15, 20, 30 gigabytes because they are in thousands of groups. Most of them are not personal, some of them are for work. So you have video files, audio files, voice notes, you have documents, and you know some people are very bad with memes. Once there's a meme video, they just dump it in different groups. So all of those things would impact your internet data.
Okay, so you turn off download.
Automatic download. So you only download what you want to watch, what you want to listen to, what you want to read. That will save your data. Another thing to do is to reduce the quality of your streaming services. I know
what does that mean?
Streaming services, I mean Netflix and the like, or YouTube. So what you do is some people cannot watch videos if it's not 4K. High quality, high definition, hearing the Dolby sound, right?
Then you get the full complement of the video.
You watch the same video in HD or even SD standard definition. However, if you are trying to save your internet data usage, you might want to reduce the quality of the videos you watch. That would also help. Another thing to do is for mobile apps, uninstall the apps you are not using. You know, we tell ourselves, I will remove this next week, or I'll download this app.
We do that by swiping up, right? Swiping up to turn it off. No,
you do not do that. Once you swipe up, you are just minimizing the app on your mobile phone or your tablet. If you minimize, you press the home screen, or you just go up, you have just minimized. To close it, you need to go and exit the app.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is you uninstall the apps you are not using, because in the background they still communicate with the internet.
Oh, yes. Uninstall. Take them out.
If you are not using them.
Okay.
There are some of us, well, I think I'm a culprit too. You open tabs on your browser. Before you know it, you are reading 70, 80, 90 tabs. Because you don't close them.
Guilty as charged.
I know. We are all in on it together. So those tabs communicate with the internet as well because they refresh in the background. So what you'd want to do is to close the tabs that you are not using, or you just use different tabs.
I think I have about 70 on right now.
Oh, congratulations. I think my wife has about 120 something.
Okay.
And please close these things. Hey, I'll close it. You know, I want to watch these videos.
Okay. So let's leave saving data now
yes,
to go to malfunctioning of devices.
All right.
There are times when people talk about their port, and you know it keeps, you know, that thing degenerates.
Oh, it does.
So how do you save it from getting entirely bad? And then you could also want to talk to us about why our phones hang sometimes,
okay,
and they're not functioning. And I have so many questions.
Oh,
devices, PCs.
Yes.
There are times when the screen, just develops lines and then it becomes blurry.
Okay.
So is that the end of that PC, or can it be salvaged?
It's not. Okay, let me pick it from the last, then we'll work it backwards. Yeah. So for your computer screens, on a computer, on the technological device or technology gadget, there are a few things that wear out over time, and they go bad and they need replacement. One is the screen. Second is the battery. Third, you would have the hard drive or the storage medium. Hard drive, solid state drive, regardless. So these three things will wear out over time, just like you have to change the tires of your car. You would have to change the battery at some point in time. You would have to change the engine oil at some point. So it's the same with computer devices. When your computer or your phone or your tablet or whatever device develops lines on the screen has reached the time the manufacturer set for it. Most of these devices don't get here like until 3-4 years after the
manufacture date.
Yes, and some of them sit on shelves for years. So the time the manufacturer produced it, they have a lifespan. And once the line starts showing up, start saving to get it replaced. Just get a qualified technician. They will say change that for you. For the charging ports, these things have a lifespan. When you connect a charging cable, you disconnect. I would always say this: please try and move about with your charging cable. You know, do you have a charging cable there? You plug. Those charging cables have different specifications.
Okay.
They have different. So when
even
you plug,
if we're both using Type C, I should not be so quick to use your own Type C charger.
So buy a spare. So you know that you are using the same cable wherever you are. When you borrow someone else's cable, some of them have different connections inside. You have Thunderbolts that are.
Yeah, but what if I lose my Follow-Com charger and I have to go and buy another?
I like that colloquial usage. Yes. Oh, no, seriously, that's what we do. So. The people who import most of these things do not import spares. When you buy a phone, it comes with a charger. So for you to get a spare that looks like that, it's somewhat a bit tricky. What you would want to do is, when you buy a phone, make sure you buy a spare. Cables are not as expensive as the phones you've bought anyway. So have spare, one at home, one at the office, one in your bag. So you know you are using your own cable. I'm not saying there are not times when you would be caught unawares and you need to quickly use the charger. Yes, but don't make it a habit. So these charging ports, when you plug, disconnect, they have a lifespan. Some of them have, even those cables, you notice after some time they start breaking. They have it about 500, 1,000. You have some braided cables. They look like cloth. Those are even stronger than your regular rubber cables. So the charging port, once you have issues with it.
Thank you for that one.
Oh yes, braided cables are better than the rubber ones.
Okay. Because
they are built stronger. Once your charging port starts having issues, get a technician to replace it. So there's something called motherboard, which is like the printed circuit board where all the components on the computers, your phone are. Then there are some things called daughter boards. That's where your charging port lives.
Okay.
So they just replace the daughter board for the charging port, regardless if it's the micro USB, which people call BlackBerry. It's not BlackBerry port, it's just micro USB. Then the Type C is now like the standard for mobile phones, mobile devices. Even the top tier devices, all of them now use Type C.
Okay.
So it makes it, you have a universal charger. Remember back in the days when Steve Jobs was announcing the iPhone, they had this proprietary charger back then, this 30-pin connector. And you cannot use another charger. Exactly. But now everything is being harmonized. Driven chiefly by the European Union. They are not, they are very averse to companies monopolizing charging ports and all of that. So now Type C is like the gold standard
for them. Okay, so it will be remiss of us to have this conversation without talking about safety. And I want you to talk about that, if you can, in 60 seconds. There are reports flying about, and they're going via WhatsApp as well, about how we need to be careful not to use certain cables when we're not within our safety zone. Yes, I saw it. So talk to us about that. How do we even know, particularly, you know, when that there's that exception when you don't have a charging device and you're totally out of battery, how can you identify that cable that is going to download all your safety data, your bank data?
Well, I have good news, and I have not so good news.
Okay.
The good news is, unless you are a high value target, high net worth individual, what do they want to do with your data? Do you get? Secondly, those cables are not cheap. Those devices, yes, they make a lot of waves online because people are like, wow, a cable can do this. They're not cheap. So for your average Joe to get it, that would not happen. However, if you move around with your charging cable, you have another layer of security among them. These cables have been so engineered for security purposes, as in, I mean security outfits. They are not really meant to hack people's phones, so to speak, but that's what they do. Once you plug them in.
I have one question. Just one question.
Yes.
Which is, I have one question, which is just one question. Overnight charging. How dangerous is it? Perpetual overnight charging.
In one word, you are killing the battery.
Okay.
In one word. Okay, in two words, or at least multiple words. When your battery is 100% charged, the battery is meant to charge and discharge. And of course, we know in these parts, you are not sure if electricity will be available. So you plug it. So once it's 100%, discharge it, as in disconnect. Let your phone discharge normally. At some point, the battery has a chip on it. It will forget it's supposed to discharge. That's when you'll be like, Bob, this battery is not lasting 6 months. It's not the battery's fault. You did not allow it to do the work. Once you charge, let it discharge. Sometimes you allow your battery to go low,
so
10%, so that you can charge it full. The same with your tablet and your laptops. Because most times we just leave our laptops on plugged.
Leave the socket perpetually on. Guilty as charged.
I know.
So I'm going to repent from today. We've learned so much from this segment. I've learned that the braided cables are better than the plastic cables. We've been talking with Mr. Akin Bisoy, a tech advisor. We hope that you've learned a lot from this segment. And we'll be bringing you more of this, just to help you get through your daily routine. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll have that very important conversation about capacity building in the public sector. Stay with us. We'll be right back.